do this?
on.
Nope. This was already built.
Okay.
Yeah, this is my brother-in-law. So him and
Okay.
his dad, they do an awful lot of hunting.
Okay, yeah.
And so they built this for cold weather hunting.
Yep.
So you live in this thing pretty much every November.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Right on.
So then we decided to come out here. I was thinking about taking my in-laws' little camper, because I got a big, like a 30-foot fifth wheel. I don't want to bring that. So I'll be bringing their small one. He's like, well, let's take the hunting trailer. Duh.
Yeah.
Because it's so small.
Where are you from?
Alberta.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, Medicine Hat area.
My uncle's out there, actually.
Yeah, where are you from?
I'm from just east of Toronto, a small
Okay.
town called Port Hope.
Okay. Yeah.
My reason for being here is I saw our media can't. I don't believe our media can be trusted, and
You don't say.
you know what I mean. But I have to say it, and I have to say it that way. But I wasn't a journalist before this or anything, but I knew that none of this was going to be recorded properly unless someone put their boots on the ground, met all of you, saw how it was all really going, like 100%, and then brought that to the world so that, like, we've got a worldwide movement. You guys are...
Yeah, it's pretty good for a group of xenophobes, right?
Not too bad for a bunch of rednecks, eh?
Fringe minority, I'll tell ya.
Saying?
Global presence.
So I guess we should start this out. This is a really cool interview. This is one of those session interviews I was talking about, where we all just sit down, have a chat. Like maybe this isn't a popular way to say it, but we said it this way in my day, man to man. You know.
Yep.
So nice to meet you, the CrackPot farmer. Wow, man! I bet you never thought you'd be sitting right beside the cenotaph, letting the people
I
of
never
Canada
thought
know.
I'd go to a protest though and drive 3,700 kilometers to come to a protest and then sit here for 3 weeks in January.
Yeah, it has not been easy, man. I've been living out in that cold, like you guys.
You're
have gone
suffering.
through a lot. Yeah,
We're
I was
laughing.
gonna say we're heated, we're insulated, we're pretty good.
We're prepared.
Yeah.
I accept donations.
We may be able to give some to him.
God. No, but I can't thank you enough, guys, for standing your ground on what you believe in, and that's important.
You have to, right?
That's so important. You clearly, you guys are not too crazy. You're not overly fringe element. But would you let us know what you do for a living back home? Like, where did you guys come from?
Go ahead.
Myself, heavy duty mechanic, off road. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Just.
You spend some time in the bush getting some serious troubles unscrewed.
My life, I like just a quiet solitude life, right? I mean, yeah, living in the bush as much as possible. I enjoy my freedom. I enjoy my peace and quiet. So, yeah, I mean, for me, this is the first protest I've ever been to in my life. It's the first time I've wanted to go to one, anything like... completely out of the ordinary, completely different than anything I like in my life. So, yeah.
And I'm a farmer. I'm also from eastern Alberta, and yeah, I guess that's really about it. It's my second protest. Back a couple years ago, 2016, I think we had 15 or 16. Our government wanted to implement that all occupational health and safety regulations apply to farmers, including all of our labor, like union laws and stuff. And so I went to that protest. That was my first, and now this is my second.
Okay, and why did you go to that first protest?
Because if all of those things were implemented, it is not possible to make a farm entity actually compliant in all of those things. It would have sunk operations like crazy, and it enabled OH&S officers to come in and administer lethal to farming operations, lethal fines for things that we could not financially fix to meet the code.
Yeah, it's like bringing OH&S.
It made it impractical that you needed to have a fully caged ladder and climbing harnesses in every single one of your bins. We have 30 of them. Like, be $5,000 per bin to do that too. Like, that's more than pay for the bin. So like those kinds of things, it just simply wasn't feasible. And so like the whole province was like, we're going to the ledge.
Okay, and there was no compromise. You couldn't have one set of climbing gear and then.
Well, I mean, imagine trying to implement the same thing into military, right? How effective would your military be? It's unrealistic.
When you're on a farm working by yourself, there's a whole pile of things just simply are not feasible to do. And like when you're working with older machines and that kind of stuff, it was not feasible to do. And the authority they wanted to give people to come in and shut down farm operations until they were compliant, and some of the labor stuff they wanted to put through, it was well intentioned. The thing was try to not get too much on a bunny trail here. The thing was people who worked for farms, some farms took advantage of them, and if they ever got hurt because of the way their pay structure was set, they weren't eligible for EI or anything like that if they got hurt. And the farmer's like, sucks to be you, I'll find somebody else. And so what they were trying to do is trying to make sure that couldn't happen. But then at the same time, they thought, oh, well, might as well throw all this stuff in there too and do it all at once. And so that's why it didn't go through.
So, and that of course has made things difficult for the people in the local area having employment with you. Clearly, like if you're running this farm, you're employing a few people or trying to help out in the area.
Not us personally. We're too small. We've had part-time hired hands. They're friends, that kind of thing, but we don't have any full-time employees. So, but still, it would have made things very difficult for us to be, if a OH&S officer came around, there are so many things that they would look through their book and go, oh, that doesn't work. We'll put that out of service, not out of service. And you're feeding animals and stuff. You can't just have things out of service. So that's why we went and worked on that, and then of course nothing ever came of it. So we were successful.
Oh, yeah, hey, right on, right on. If it's your first one, and we have the right to protest, right?
Yep.
How do you guys know? How did you come to be sitting right beside the cenotaph? Like, this is a ballsy move, gentlemen.
So you probably heard it a lot. People say they followed their heart here, right? Mm-hmm. And we're both Christians, and so when the convoy was first getting started, like 2 weeks before it left, I was like, I kind of feel like I maybe should go. And I mentioned to my wife and my dad, and they're both like, cool, what are you driving? And so they're very supportive, and I finally decided, no, I'm not going to go. And then the Sunday that they left, we were watching our church online. We didn't feel like going that day, so we watched online. And right around noon, I'm like, Megan, to my wife, I got to go to Ottawa. And she goes, okay, who's going with you? What are you driving? Because you can't go by yourself. And I called my dad and said, Dad, I got to go to Ottawa. He's like, what you driving? Here's the farm credit card. Here's the farm crowd luck card. Who's going with you? And so he was visiting us, staying downstairs, wasn't feeling good. He came out of his bedroom like, hey, Jordan, you want to go to Ottawa? And he said,
ride or die.
So I said, if I'm on my feet by tomorrow night, I'll go.
So then I said, well, we should take the holiday trailer. And he's like, no, I'll take the hunting trailer. So 22 hours later, we were all loaded up and in Medicine Hat. And we left from Medicine Hat 5 o'clock on Monday, caught up in Regina at 11 o'clock that night, and followed the convoy out here, which was miserable. 14-hour days to go 600 kilometers, 700 kilometers. Ridiculous. But then the day we followed here, we're with West Convoy, and they're all out on the jam, and they're not here. We got separated from them on the freeway. The car pulled in and blocked the exit. We couldn't get through, so we had the trailer, so we skipped one and then took the next exit. I made a wrong turn, then didn't listen to him. We made a loop twice, and literally we stopped for the night. We were one of the last vehicles to be allowed in here. We stopped about 100 feet behind us in that intersection. That's where we landed. That's where traffic stopped moving.
Just happened to be, eh?
And then a couple of days later, when things shuffled a bit, then we ended up right here. And the whole thing has been God right from the start. Everything lined up. All our problems we've ever had have always been solved just like this. When we first pulled up there, I opened my door. There's a phone cord on the street. Been driven over. It's dirty. Thought, oh, it's garbage. I'll throw it in my truck. But to give you an idea how the trip has gone, a week later, my phone cord quit. And I go, okay, God, I know how this works. Went and pulled that cord out of the back of my truck, cleaned it up, plugged it in. Works totally fine. That is how the entire trip has gone, start to finish.
Strangely, I can't argue with you with my experience either. I felt a great need. All of a sudden, I heard about your West group coming through Regina and Medicine. It was strangely enough right around the time that you got involved, I started hearing about it, and I had that same day. Do I go? What do I do? Dude, you don't have the skills to do that. You've never done this. And just, it rose up in me that I absolutely needed to go. And it's strange because I'm an atheist.
Okay.
Card carrying, man.
Yep.
I'll, straight up tell you, I believe we are lottery winning monkeys on this little speck that's in the biggest, emptiest room there ever was. So for me to have this sudden urge to go was very strange to me, and I didn't know what to think of it, but I just went with it because it was like being hungry or really thirsty. I needed to go.
Your heart.
And strange, right? So now here I am speaking with all you guys.
Like you said, it's a physical feeling.
It is.
It very much was. I wish there was a more scientific way to explain this whole thing.
But there isn't.
No, there's really not. And I'm one for the science, 100%. For myself, the difference of Omicron has really kind of shown me that our government's a little out of touch with the science.
Understatement.
Well, I'd love to hear your outlook on that.
Okay, well, now I'm going to start sounding like a bit of a lunatic. We've kind of known pretty much right from the beginning that the whole COVID thing was a farce and a front.
Not that it doesn't exist.
Not that it doesn't exist. It's been exploited as part of a plan for the World Economic Forum
So
and
you believe
globalist
that
takeover.
people have been sick? There was a
100%.
We know people who've died from it, actually. We've known people who've been sick from it. We were actually allegedly recovering on our way in. So we know it's absolutely a real thing. Absolutely. It's just been exploited and overplayed and blown up for the intents and purposes of some very high up people who've got a big plan.
Okay. I just want to make sure this is still recording. Yeah, we're still recording because this is like my greatest interview yet.
Okay.
I swear, I love talking to you guys. Now I've derailed myself. I'm gonna have to edit this part out. We're gonna make us look good. Don't worry. We're gonna make us look good.
Just let it run. Nobody cares.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
You know, keep. You know what?
It's
I
better if
really
you
like
don't
that,
cut it.
and that's how we're gonna play it. So
It's
you're
real.
gonna get the
It's real.
entire session chat. I like it. So you guys, you've been involved with some of the planning here and the lawyers and all that kind of stuff. Well, maybe not involved, but you're definitely getting word because I'm hearing your updates and. You're like, oh, the police have instituted that, but our lawyers say this. What's that correspondence like? Do you just get word from the top? Are you there?
Well, so we're going to go back to the God thing. People show up at this door all the time. So we have had people show up here who are now involved in four-wheeler support, who are involved in getting fuel to people. We've had people who show up here who have connections, like they have a pass into the war room to talk to those people. We have a guy show up here with military logistics experience, so he headed up security for a while. We had a guy who shows up here, he's just here this afternoon, who's been in law enforcement and that kind of stuff and military his whole life. He knows the entire sixth back of his hand. He knows where the police do their kind of things, where they hide stuff, where they set things up. Those people we bump into them. And so we've
lawyers, stuff like that, like
that law stuff we're able to find online from Stand
but
for
even
Thee,
that,
which is
like
right here.
you know, I met one of the women from Stand for Thee. Yeah,
got a
ended
lawyer
up
walk
getting
up
in
to a trailer.
contact. Like there's another, you know, it's just networking.
And we just bump into those people.
Yeah.
Like
Just at the right time.
1 o'clock in the
Yeah.
morning here, one time I heard a guy walk to say, hey, Mr. Crackpot, you awake? I'm like, I'm too tired for this. Next morning I walk up on the hill for the Jericho March. The very first person I talked to is that guy.
Yeah.
And so our network just builds like that. Had a guy see the slip tank in the back of our truck, so he poked his head in here to talk to us about getting fuel up. I said, we can't use it, it's died, you can't use that.
No.
But if I hear of anything else, and then for next week found out he's a road captain, he's involved in the Coventry operation, so you get more people who are inside and are working on that kind of stuff, and so you get a dozen or 24 of those people, and so you call a few of them every night, and so you hear things, you know who to call to confirm things and see what's actually going on everywhere in the convoy, and you can get very reliable information if you have the people, and they just find us.
That's incredible. Because your online presence suggests that you're far more connected to things than
We're really not.
you're saying you are, right? So that's really interesting. So like there was no connection to the war room or any of that when you were on your way
invited.
up.
We've been invited once, but we had a supper appointment in Gatineau, so we had to walk. So we said no to that and went over there.
I've never met any of the organizers.
I've met
nothing
Chris
like-
Barber once
Yeah.
for 30 seconds outside here, and I saw him once more, and I don't know what the rest even look like. We have that little association with them whatsoever. They don't even know we exist.
Because you've become one of the most watched personalities in all of this.
I know, right?
And when I speak to people that do watch all the Russian down there, he's one of our favorites. That guy's he's a unit, right?
Yep.
But I mean, what a strong voice, and he's determined. The people in this convoy are determined to do this, and they're determined that.
Well, like you, they have this, it'd be called conviction, whatever, right? That feeling, that physical feeling that, yeah, we had to be here and we can't back down.
They found a purpose,
Yeah.
and they know how
And if-
serious it
yeah,
is.
Like, you even start to think about turning around, and that hits you again. That same feeling, like, sometimes
Something-
it makes you want to puke, right?
I was going to bail out, and it was Andrea here that gave me a call, and then now I have a place to be there and work
Okay.
on
Yeah.
the actual, like, get some good footage out, right?
Yeah.
Like, the camera is so full of stuff,
Yeah.
and that it's not a bad camera. It's gonna look a little professional when we're done, you know.
It's a
But,
heck of a lot better than that's our camera.
hey, you know what? We all do what we do, right? It's just
Yeah.
the gift I was given was being a cinematographer. So that
Yep.
was what
There you
I
go.
could bring to this table to try just to help all of Canada come to a consensus on what's happening.
Yep.
I believe 100% that you have the support of the people as far as this ends at finishing off the mandates and probably seeing the end of the Trudeau government. Now, at what point are you guys willing to pull up the chocks and return home?
When that feeling's gone.
When the feeling's gone. That's a difficult question to answer because we feel we've been called here by God or whatever. We've been called here to do a job, and we'll know when the job is done. But at the moment, we can't say when this checklist is done, then we'll go home. Like, things been added to the checklist. We didn't plan on kicking O'Toole out. That was not on the list. We didn't plan on the city police chief coming out. We didn't plan on the Peterborough mayor. Is it the mayor or the police chief?
Nope, police
leave of
chief.
absence. Like, we didn't plan on all of these other cards and things coming down and being shaken. That was not on the checklist. But apparently, or 3 Liberal MPs turning. Like, we did not plan on those things. So we kind of sort of have a bit of a goal, but at the same time, we will know in our hearts that we're done. And we don't know when that's going to be.
I can understand that. So that's
It's
an
tough,
interesting
right? Like,
thought.
And that makes that tough to interview because now we're trying to work with things that are not physical and not, we can't say this
There's
is
no
list of
metric
facts.
on it,
Exactly.
Yeah, we
And
came
that's-
here thinking it was one purpose, and some of that has already happened, as we've seen countrywide. But at the same time, I mean, Trudeau's digging in more and more every day, right?
And the harder he digs in, the more things seems to shake.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could, because when the government acts like this with you guys, like, what guarantee have you got that he's going to keep his word after you all pull up chalks and walk out, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's never
showed-
given the people of this country any reason to trust him, right? So it'd be foolish to ever trust him again in his life, right? So, in my opinion, anyways.
Yeah.
It would almost take another leader to come and deal with you guys now, like a new face to talk to. Is there anybody? That's an excellent question. Is there anybody in that house right now that you feel would keep their word?
I think I'm not super well faced into politics. My wife would be a much better person to answer that question. Of all the people that I know, which is very few, I would think that Mr. Polyev would probably be the closest one. But even at that point, the entire swamp, or ocean as people are starting to call it, the entire ocean is contaminated. And essentially what we kind of need to do is drain the whole thing and fill it with a whole batch of new people because they've been indoctrinated, regardless what side of that room they're on, into the same system. To some extent. And only now since that we've come here are they starting to rally and do the things they should have been doing the whole time. So that just shows that they're still complacent to some extent, all of them. And so even though there are people who are more trustworthy, I still kind of think that we may see the entire place get cleaned out and start over to some extent.
Biggest thing is, though, like, we feel strongly it all needs to be done legally.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So
all we got to do is sit
whatever,
here and smile, and it seems to be doing itself.
Yeah. So, and as you said earlier, this has been a global thing that's happened, right? A global movement. So to find literally millions of people around the world come to the same conviction and come to the same supernatural peace, because that's like, it's the only way to really
How do
explain
you
it, right?
keep that level of blue-collar, high-strung people this calm, this long?
We got threatened this morning again with the Emergency Act, and they strategically neglected to tell anyone that we are still protected by our Charter of Rights and our Bill of Rights. The Emergency Act cannot override that.
Is that what was brought to you guys this morning?
Yeah. So we actually, a follower of ours sent me they took a video of their television, and I saw 2 minutes of live television on CBC of them putting this under my windshield wiper, and I was like, oh, I guess I should go get that. Because we were on the Jericho March when they put it there. So I saw the video, I'm like, I should go get that. So I went out and got it.
May I have
Absolutely.
I'll take a picture and
and it's
get a
French on
comment?
one side and English on the other. Yeah.
So I'll definitely put this up for you guys while we're talking.
Sorry about the water.
No,
Snow.
hey, it was. You have to understand what life's like out here, okay? Like, it's not.
That's our filing cabinet.
I see that the children are all warm. Everybody's cool that way. Even some of my community is concerned about the safety and well-being of the children.
The kids are this has literally become the safest place in probably Canada.
I think
and we've
so,
proven that, through crime stats.
And that's
crime
statistics.
stats.
Like, you can't argue with the statistics on that one.
I was just saying to
Absolutely.
Tyler, I live just out like 20 minutes outside of Ottawa. And I said, there's, you know, every day we're hearing shootings, stabbings. Since you guys have been here, there's been nothing.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
it's...
And it's coming from the same people telling everyone that we're super dangerous.
Yeah.
Right?
We just
The
spoke with a
homeless-
homeless guy this morning. Yeah. like-
They are singing your guys' praises, like singing them. I think honestly, I saw him get a little emotional when we talked about the end coming along, and it's like they're worried that you guys are going to leave now because they've had such a good life down here with you.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
It's quite incredible what you hear. I have footage of and have witnessed, you know, like wagons being dragged down to shepherds.
Shepherds,
And you know, taking buns, hot dogs, you name it, like all sorts of stuff. Excuse me. Now, have you guys been involved in any of that, or are you just holding the line here? And
We've we obviously found our niche. I had no idea this is what we were going to do when we got here, and like the closest we've got to being able to really contribute to stuff was the first day we were here. We thought we're going to get up early in the morning, go help pick up garbage. Well, we were really tired, slept in till like 8. It was done.
Oh, well, I was up even earlier than you. You slept in till late. I got up and I came out and the street was clean already. Like there's
it's
three
only
guys
older guys doing it, eh? Like the older guys are hopping out first thing.
Lots of young guys too.
But so like we've just, unfortunately, my contribution has not been really physical. We've just been coordinating the efforts of getting supplies in and out and people and those kind of things. So I actually haven't physically helped pick up hardly any garbage or shovel any snow or anything like that, which is kind of sad as a young, fit person. But I spent half my day on that stupid thing trying to run traffic.
Man, trust me, I understand. Like just getting word in from the community and all. I'll get to here, get to there, and luckily I have Andrea to help me with that because, like, honestly, it was overwhelming me. There's some of the days here, man, I have sat in my car and just cried because I don't know what to do next. And
it's exhausting. It's overwhelming, and I mean, Kim and I, we are not people.
People.
Yeah.
My mental battery, my emotional batteries have been fried long ago.
I am a people, and my emotional batteries are like melting down. You can see the lithium ions coming right out the side.
You will find him down there and me up here. Lights are off. Nobody can see that we're in here, but we can still see out, and so we can still kind of see what's going on and do our jobs without having too many people. Well, they all know where we live now, so we get lots of visitors. But
so what's it like being all of a sudden like a little mini
it's weird
influencer?
It's weird, and it kind of sucks because like I go to the hill to enjoy a nice peaceful Jericho march and I end up talking to like a dozen people and then a whole pile of selfies and like all that stuff. It's really cool because like, well, you're inspirational, like you calm us down, you give us hope. You know, we're here because you said it was safe to be here and those kind of things. So it's cool to know that I'm helping
just have
people.
that selfish side inside you, right? Everyone does that. You kind of want.
I'm
my time.
I'm cool. I'm popular. Another time, it's like I want to go to the bathroom and not be accosted on the way there.
I can appreciate like.
And now you know why I like to stay out of the videos, you know, and all that. Like I like the background. You know, it's 100%. Quiet. I can go back to my life after this and just disappear like before. So.
I think a lot of you will be able. I think you'll be able to. You'll probably always have a fall, and people will always want to know like what's going on at the CrackPot farm.
I started the page for the farm. That's what it was for. And it was just I don't know if you saw like from the start. I started doing videos as soon as we left Medicine Hat, and it was just like 30 seconds of, hey, we're in the truck. It's this time on this day. We're going to here. Here's a big thing that happened today. Just put like 3 of those up a day. And then by the time I got here, and it's like, hey, this happened and this happened, this happened. And everybody's like, oh look, truth, what's happening out there? Share. Mm-hmm. And it just blew up from there. So everybody's like, well, why are you called the CrackPot Farmer? Because it was the page I was using to document my farm that is now, we had 1,700 followers came out here. It's almost 40,000 just on Facebook, and now we're on 4 other platforms too. And so I'm looking forward to going home, having like 80% of the followers disappear and go back to the crowd who cares about farming and stuff and continue on with that.
I've got some small farmers around the area. I want to say like my hat goes off to the work that goes on in those places. Like you guys, it's the moment you get up till the moment you go to bed, there's always something that needs tending.
You could work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for literally that long for 10 years, and you would never be even close to being caught up.
Yeah, how true, eh? And so this is who you guys were. You just
regular guys,
heavy equipment mechanic. I mean, I was a heavy equipment operator with the 793 for years. One of the best experiences of my life. So, I mean, you guys have pulled me out of some places I was embarrassed to be caught in.
What'd you operate?
Excavator.
Okay.
Mostly.
Okay.
So I mean, like, dude, I've buried the tracks.
Yeah, that's all right.
I know you roll in and you're like, oh, kid. yeah, and you know what? It's me too, because I'm standing over there like.
Yeah, different profession.
But like you guys were the saviors out there. You guys pull off some serious stunts out in those woods, right? Like and
yeah, most days it's not too bad because usually, at least where I've worked, we have a recovery crew that takes care of pulling it out. I mean, it sucks if you got to rebuild or a swamped excavator or anything like that. There's a lot of work, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it
keeps us going, keeps
for
money in
sure.
the bank. So yeah.
So after this, like, what do you think the next step to all this is? Like, just your opinion.
Like
if you don't want to speak to anything, it's totally cool because you don't want to,
I'm trying to find ways to put it into words, right? Because that's part of the problem with having followed God out here. We don't know what the plan is or what it looks like. That's part of the issue. Is we can't, answer solidly what we think. So I think that if this is successful in Canada, which will then spread to the rest of the world, we're going to see a major upset of those big institutions like the World Economic Forum and all of their cohorts. We will see them turned upside down, possibly held accountable. That'd be nice, whether it be formally or informally. And we will see at least, I'm thinking, a generation, maybe two, of where we go back to a little bit more normalcy before this inevitably happens again.
Isn't that the case? Most of the Russian community that I've run into has very recent memories of times with the Bolshevik and communist Russia.
And
we've talked to a few of those here.
Like there's
very strong voices, very strong.
We've met a ton of immigrants here. This afternoon, I guess, we had a lady in from Iran.
Yeah, yesterday we had another lady from
Egypt, Tunisia, all these places, Romania, Poland.
Yeah.
All these places where all of this is fresh in their minds, right? So
And
they're the ones
on.
coming out to fight the loudest, right? Like they're the angriest because they thought they were leaving a terrible place and they've come here and they're like, well, we backstepped, and because we're going into it slowly, people here, well, we've been conditioned to it, right? It's the frogs in the pot kind of thing. So
the boiled frog situation. I totally understand that.
So
I personally, for me, it's the same story, but it was my great grandma used to tell us stories of how things were back then, and that was very personal for me. I don't want to see our future slip into something that we don't have control over. I want your farm to continue to be in your farm, and we all just go and live free and do our thing. And it's my opinion that when people are left to live as free as possible, we do our best. We create the best things.
And these these are people who decide they're going to remain free, and they have shown the Canada and the world what Canada can go back to, right? Because these people just stood up, said, no, I'm staying free, and this is what free people look like, right? So it's clean, it's safe, there's kids everywhere, there's so much
burly
joy.
truckers crying like crazy and giving out hugs.
Okay, so I was sitting for yesterday in the lineup on Ken Street because I just had nowhere else to put my car. Strangely enough, I went around. I asked a bunch of stores if I could park in the parking lot. No one wanted to touch me. Go over to the trucker convoy and I'm like, look guys, I'm not really with you. I'm an independent cinematographer. I've even shot some people saying some stuff that wasn't so cool about the convoy, but can I park up here for a little while, just kind of get my bearings? And you guys invited me, the convoy invited me in, open arms, and it was beautiful. Like this little kid came up and popped a Valentine's through my window, and I'm looking at this thing, and I'm like, thanks, truckers. You're crying. I'm crying.
Yeah. Who's cutting onions?
Oh, man, like tears. Once I finally got out and alone somewhere, I had to have like a total emotional dump. Yeah, exactly. Like I was crying in the car, and I don't mean like tearing up, like straight up burying my face in my hands, crying. Dude, that's not me. All right? That's not the guy I am.
You don't think it is.
Well, you're supposed to be tough or something. And I couldn't help it. And it was really nice.
Yep.
It was to feel all of this togetherness. So here's the thing. You guys rolled in the beginning like the heroes. I mean, I followed you
We
in.
followed like that all the way in here, yeah.
Dude, it was like the guns of the Navarone showing up. Like it was the people cheering in the streets and the lights. And so now we're 3 weeks into this. Like, how's things changed over the course for you guys? Like, have you felt a change in the feeling of the convoy, or
Just stronger peace, I guess. Really,
you're thinning out the people who didn't have the ability or the determination to stay here, and now it's the not quite diehard isn't the right term, but the really determined ones are the ones who are left, the ones whose morale cannot be slashed and crushed by anything. And the people who are coming up here, same thing. They're the supporters that nothing's going to stop them from coming up here. So we wake up every morning, oh, is it quiet? Nope, there's still a train, and there goes another wagon of jerry cans or freedom cans up the hill, and there go the people with flags, and you're like, okay, yep, it's business as usual here. And you walk up on the hill. I try to walk up there a couple times a day. It gets old, same truck, same place all the time. And there go the horns, there go the same people, just as happy as can be the whole time. And the government's like, nah, we're gonna squash you. And then more people show up, and the truckers get more invigorated, and just this constant circle of being fueled. And it's like, well, can we make it till Friday? Friday night the party starts, and just throw gas on the fire, and we're just all hyped up again, and away we go.
Well, and I think it was a week and a half ago or something. I don't even remember where we were going, but we walked down by Confederation Park that way, and you leave the barrier here, right? And we ran into a mom here with her young son. I think he was 10 years old, something like that. And he was scared, and so he's kind of, talking to his mom about this. And so we ran into them, and, she said, hey, can you just comfort my son right now? So it's like, yeah, man, like, what's wrong? And he's like, we're not in the safe zone anymore. We left the safe zone, right? And he's like, as soon as he left the barrier of the hill, then he got scared going out into the rest of Ottawa, right? So we walked with them for a bit, and he just, he perked right up, and then he started to see more people in support on the streets and stuff. Then he was really good again, right? But it, and that's over and over and over again. People are like, well, it's safe here. It's when you leave the barrier, that's when it gets miserable, it gets scary. You have Trudeau's world outside that barrier, and it's a disgusting place, right?
It's dirty, the snow isn't shoveled.
Yeah, it's just like
it is a heck of
there's garbage
change, I gotta say.
Yeah, it is. It's in every way, it's this heavy thing. It's like a dark cloud. As soon as you move past that barrier and you come up here, and it's like the sun's always shining, and people are happy, and it's this weird,
I've noticed
world.
When I leave, there's a definite storm cloud waiting for you on the outside. The masks are back on. You can't just have this conversation with
unless you see someone with flags. If you see somebody with flags, you're good.
Yeah.
Or inside dirty overalls or something.
Or a beard. It doesn't seem to be very.
No, we don't see a lot of beards out here.
So, I thought that was strange too. As three bearded, handsome gentlemen,
Go outside Ottawa, you see it.
Yeah. But
I'm from a small little town. I'm telling you, guys look like every other farmer out there.
Exactly.
That's where I grew up, and that's what the boys look like.
The white-collared guys here working office and stuff, they don't have beards. So you can tell them pretty quick.
Yeah. So you
I
can tell who's.
I found the most difficulty that I've had is getting people who don't support to speak to that. Anybody who's in support, when I talk to you, you are like, and this is why I think this, and I've researched this thing and this thing, and you've all got your reasons. I find when I speak to anybody outside of it, they really don't have a lot of factual basis to put any of their reasons for believing the things they believe. There's definitely a difference between you guys saying something to me, even when you're not sure. I mean, the camera rig has definitely turned some people off, especially today.
Okay.
Well, I'm noticing a bit of a difference, but hey, the police stomping by outside, there's definitely a difference in presence here, and we all hear the things online, don't show up downtown, or I just spoke to a police officer, and I was like, I'm an independent media guy, I don't have my ticket, but what's my protocol down here? as far as he's concerned, I'm a civilian. Civilians have been told to stay out of the downtown area, and I could face charges for that, right? So
We should get him a press pass.
we
We have a guy who can do that.
I would love one, like
That's what
off
he's been
camera
wanting
or
to get
whatever.
in on,
I've
but
been
it's
trying
hard
to get one.
get the info
We'll get you a
for
phone
us.
number.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We have
please.
a friend now.
Excellent. You see, this is the networking I'm talking about. My quest is for the truth. So, like, even if you are the guys that can get me a press pass to keep telling my story,
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't have got. I don't know that I could have got that same press pass from just going down the conventional route towards it, right?
Yep.
So right there, like, how are you guys feeling about media in our country right now?
Well, there's a reason.
Nothing has changed for me.
There's
I
a
mean,
reason that a farmer and a mechanic are getting more views and more follows and more people who are listening to us than there are some of the mainstream.
Yeah.
And it's not because we have fancy equipment or because we have any training or we're talented in any way, but it's because we try to only speak the truth. And the truth is very easy to say because you don't have to worry about anything. It's really easy to do. And so it's difficult to find sometimes, difficult to confirm and verify because I can't always see it with my own two eyes, but it's easy to say the truth. And people, when they listen to us, they know that it's the truth because of the things we've said, and we've been very accurate with what we've said. They can find out that it is true. And so when you say the truth, it's very easy. And I think the mainstream media is now kind of suffering a little bit because for quite a while they've been trying to spin to whatever way they want it to be seen. And now people are seeing that they're spinning, and so they've lost an awful lot of credibility. I kind of feel sorry for them, but they've done it to themselves.
I do feel a little bit of pity for it. I'm pretty sure they in a lot of cases are jammed into that situation.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not necessarily the people on the ground who
Yeah,
do it. It's
yeah.
the people higher up that go, okay, we need to take this, we need to twist it and do this. And so it's not necessarily the people on the ground because they're here and see it. They can't just ignore it. They see the facts and maybe they're told to try to, we need to downplay this or whatever. But yeah, it's the people higher up that we don't see that cause the problems.
Yeah, and you definitely see the people on the ground downplaying it, right? You'll see a crowd of people and they turn the camera the other way, right? Where there's no crowd, so.
that has become, there's a few videos floating around online that I've seen that are really nailing that down. And it was, again, it was my inspiration to come here in the first place and
See,
sit down. Like, it's been an honor and a privilege to be in your home here and speak with you guys, like, honestly. And I would have said that regardless of this situation. Like, you're my fellow countrymen. I believe that Canadians are good people in their hearts, and I have a heart. Oh, wow. There's the trucks rolling by right now with
why is he moving?
all the kids stuff on it.
Yeah, I wonder why he's moving. That's interesting.
There's a lot going on today with this this acoustic weapon thing that they're talking
Oh
about.
yeah,
There's-
Elred.
If they're moving that truck, they'd cleaned everything off it. So he's not leaving, he's just moving. Otherwise he'd be littering everywhere. But there's some stuff shuffling around up top.
For sure.
I wonder where he's moving.
Well, we want to be. The first time these rumors flew, I had just met a gentleman named Euro down at what I call Sussex Town there.
Okay.
Okay, he's from Croatia, and he told me about his life and his past. I'd love it if I could go and interview him. I'm going to try, but he's so determined. He's absolutely sure that he's doing the right thing. He told me that this will be his 5th war that he's been in his life.
Yeah.
He was in Bosnia. Obviously, the area of the world he grew up in is a little bit volatile.
Yeah.
He participated in Iraq and I believe Afghanistan, and then he said this will be his 5th war.
Yeah.
And I thought that was an interesting way to say what he said, because to him it wasn't a protest. This really was a war that he was standing out on. But
Yeah.
he was also quick to say, he says, it's my favorite war because it is with love.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so interesting. I thought that was so powerful coming from someone who had likely done some
very difficult
pretty
things.
rough things to survive. I mean, war changes all of us, right?
Yep.
So- and you guys are clearly sharing that sentiment.
Yep.
Okay, it's even for myself trying to be subjective. It's hard not to be like, you know what, guys, you're fucking right. Screw all of them, And you want to take that step back because I'm worried that if we get too hoorah, you'll lose the
whole
lose the
purpose.
people, right? And
Yep.
the only way to win this is by staying peaceful, by being peaceful protesters, by loving each other, stuff like that. Like, never in our lives did any of us think we'd be all sounding like hippies.
I know.
And you feel so weird all the time, right? Because you're like, I sound like an idiot.
A wackadoodle.
Yeah, the exact opposite of the person you are or have ever wanted to be. But it, truthfully, it is. We win this by being peaceful. If you're getting arrested, who cares?
No,
keep a smile on your face.
I don't think anyone's going to stick anyways.
After speaking with him, I felt this great need, and this was the night before we heard rumors that RCMP were coming through with all the riot equipment to wipe everybody out. I felt like a coward by leaving. It was such a strong feeling in me that I was like, dude, you have to go down with, like, you're getting arrested tonight. If they come down here, they're going to stick a gun in your face, and you're going to have to stare that down and stand to your convictions, because if these people, your Canadians, are willing to stand on this line, the least you can do is stand for the truth, man. And if that means getting arrested with them, that's fine.
And the thing is, they will do whatever they can to rile us up, because if we're no longer peaceful, that's when we step outside the charter, the Bill of Rights. And that's how they know how to deal with us. And that's how they win.
And that's how they know. That's what they're trained to deal with, is people outside of those boundaries. Yeah. So if we can stay inside of this, they don't know how to work with it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
And that's why they're seething mad, right?
Like exactly.
That is why they are seething mad, because you can't do anything about peaceful protests, right? So,
no, it's tough.
The injunctions we've seen, the judges have been very clear, like, we are peaceful protesters. So unless we step outside of that, we're peaceful protesters, and that is protected, right?
I'd like you to know too, many of the veterans, every veteran that I've spoken with, even ones that don't have an opinion on it, or they're like, I'm a little centrist on this one, I'm not too sure what to think still. They definitely agree with your right to a peaceful protest, and they have questions for the people on the Hill too, like, why is it being treated this way? Like, this isn't what I swore to defend, right?
Yep.
So have you guys had a chance to speak to many of the veterans?
A few. I mean, they've got 24-hour security here around the memorial right now.
And that's all ex-veterans.
That's
no
all veterans.
longer a part of the service.
That is all veterans right now. Like, I can't remember how long their shifts are, 4 or 6 hours, something like that. They come in, 24-hour security. I mean, they've got a warm-up shack there, right? They got food last night. I got the honor of giving one of the guys a hot chocolate. And
you made it right in here.
Nice.
But like,
so, and they're being taken. The veterans are being taken care of, eh?
Yeah. Like,
okay, by the convoy, or is this
by supporters?
By other veterans, by
they're being included in the support
by
network.
The convoy, like, everybody's coming out to take care of them, to take care of us. Where can you walk and not see food being offered for free to anybody, right?
No, I can't attest. Like, man, seriously, it's everywhere.
We've seen locals come out every night for dinner.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, oh yeah, I don't have to make dinner. I don't have to cook dinner. How many pizzas were made down on Lion?
A lot.
A few thousand pizzas have been made.
Turning them out about what, one every 2 minutes for
every few
day?
minutes.
Wow.
Cooked in a wood pizza oven,
wood-fired
stove. Pizza oven, right?
Oh, look out, man! I missed out.
Yeah, they're probably still going. They pop up for a couple days and then.
They ran out. They came back again a few days ago. So if they ran out, they'll probably be back again this weekend, right?
Oh, that's incredible, man! That's so incredible.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave now. I want to hang out with you guys. It's like we met some friends here. God.
Yeah. No, it's going to be sad when this all ends.
We're all going to go home and be depressed for 3 weeks.
We built this community that, it's weird. I don't know. I've never really lived in a city before, or like participated in a city, I guess I should say. And so, it's a weird neighborhood, right? Like, it's a unique dynamic that throws everyone off.
It's really lit up the hearts of people. People needed some kind of hope, and that's what this represented, as far as I can tell. For the average person in Canada, it was this was the first hope they had felt in longer than anyone could remember.
Yeah.
And
no, exactly.
Whoever these guys are at the top, they sure did deliver it, eh?
Yeah. They probably didn't envision this.
No, I don't know if they thought this would go this far.
I don't think so.
This is really built up, eh?
Yeah, and we've really got Trudeau to thank, honestly, because the longer he digs in his heels, the more happy
we couldn't have done it without you, Trudeau.
Yeah, this is all the unity and happiness and togetherness. It's all your fault.
Yeah.
I would hope for a future where our prime minister can walk down a street just like this, and we do nothing but cheer for them to be there because they promote a good,
even if
solid
they're not
economy.
Perfect. I'll do all that stuff. Admit when they're wrong and own their mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably honestly the biggest thing.
You could be in power for.
You could be a NDP,
ever.
and I'm an Albertan. You could be an NDP leader, and as long as you will admit your mistakes and be honest about it, that speaks huge volumes, regardless of the way you want to take things. If you're willing to admit your mistakes.
Now, do you think? Excuse me.
Yeah, everybody runs sleep deprivation around here.
Yeah.
Now, do you think Trudeau could do anything to redeem any of his actions? You think he's
on a global
done
scale?
At this point,
He's been a
National
global
scale,
laughing stock his whole life, really, and he has not really seemed to. No, I don't think there's anything he can do.
He's self-destructive.
He might as well go to Cuba.
It's been death of 1,000 self-inflicted
Time for a visit
cuts.
with his father?
Oh, troll! I gotta put up like the troll face on that one. Yeah. And you know, actually, that's a cool concept. That's a cool part of the conversation to bring up, because I'm a firm believer that whether he is Castro's son or not, it's none of our business, right?
No,
like we can
matter.
jeer him about it and stuff, but it's not like you get out there and be like, "Damn, Castro's my dad. Oh man, I better start into like making this communist for daddy." You know what I mean?
That's
like,
not it.
I don't think that has anything, even if it's all true, I don't think that has anything to do with the political
it doesn't. It really doesn't.
climate he's created. But I do plan, is there anything I should do some research on to help me get a bigger picture of or bring a better picture to everybody of why you guys are so convicted on this global government thing?
That's your baby.
Kind of, sort of.
Take him down the rabbit
Just like
hole.
what could you do to just get like your first steps into that, you know?
The United Nations Agenda 20 and Agenda 2030 and the World Economic Forum, and I forget the title of that book, written by Klaus Schwab, the guy who runs Economic Forum, and it is pretty much just a step-by-step action of how to take over the entire globe and enslave a population for the good of a very, very few. And then from there you can easily see how, and included in there is how they can use a virus as a front to be able to slowly clamp down on things, get rid of freedoms, strip people's wealth from them, and bring it up to their own and that kind of stuff. But just the tip of the iceberg, start with the World Economic Forum. Go nuts. You'll find out that most of the people in that building are part of it, especially on the liberal side, and you'll find out just how nasty that stuff is. And it's all in plain sight. You can go and read it all. It's all online. You just have to be willing to go and read it and understand how it directly applies.
So that's been my goal in this, is to even the people that don't want to believe it, open their minds to at least listen
and to consider, have you been lied to?
Yeah.
And if you've been lied to about, if been watching the media the way that they spun this for the most part, if they're willing to lie to you about this, that this beautiful, peaceful protest has been a thing of violence and disruption, that kind of thing. If they're willing to lie about this, what else have they lied about? And how big and how deep does that go? Yeah. And when you have your prime minister who on camera admits, well, when you give them $600 million, they'll print whatever you want them to. When you have that, it gives you even less trust and, okay, how many other things have they lied to us about?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, guys. I think you guys got to get going to a meeting.
Yeah, we do. Actually, we got a little bit of a walk. We're going to Gatineau for supper
like
tonight.
The insight that you guys have delivered to me has been excellent. I think that everybody's really gonna going to be able to take this and do something with it. I mean, we had a pretty real talk here. You know?
yeah.
I think that was about as close to a bunch of good old Canadians chilling out and having a chit chat as you could get. So,
We're sorry
guys,
we don't have hockey sticks.
Oh, yeah.
Sticks in here, you know, jerseys. Hanging.
Yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful little trailer, guys. And check it out, man. We got Captain America.
Handwritten letters. Like one of these ladies, they
got one
watch
on the
us.
truck too,
Yeah, they
right?
do. They watch
Oh,
us
yeah.
for news. Homeschool daughter came up with a cookie recipe and made cookies for the two of us, and we have handwritten letters with handpicked Bible verses written on them for us.
My heart.
Yeah, they're pulling on my feels. I tell you.
Shut up. Guys, thanks for tuning in. This was the CrackPot Farmer and, sorry, dude.
No worries, Jordan.
Jordan, the heavy mechanic equipment guy, and in the hunting trailer, man. So this is how real it is. Hopefully, everybody can bring something from this. That's
how we shoot videos. That's how we
this
shoot
is how the
videos.
CrackPot Farmer's shooting the video. He sets her up there, stands right here. Man, ain't bad. That ain't a bad setup. I'm impressed. I think this is cool. Guys got more views than I do, and look at all the crap I'm carrying, right? So, all right, guys, we'll talk to you soon. I hope to be back with some more great interviews like this from great Canadians and some sanity from you guys. You know, it's nice. It's nice. These are the people of the convoy. These are the real ones, right? Talk soon, guys.